is going on out there, peeps? So when it comes to NESARA, GESARA, I have had tons of conversations with different people. Obviously, I have to deal with those individuals who firmly believe in all the BS that's out there about NESARA, GESARA, the unrealistic things about the 17 miles of gold and the clones and everything else. I started to think maybe people like actually being lied to. They really do. It seems that way. I even had chats about it. I said, I think people would rather me lie to them and talk about the 17 miles and the clones, sit back eating popcorn. They eat that crap up. I'm not even kidding. To make my point, I went on to other YouTubers who talk about the fake crap. Man, the number of subscribers they have is in the hundreds of thousands. The numbers of views are in the tens of thousands, sometimes over 100,000 views. And I said, do you see this? They go, well, why don't you do that? I'm not doing it. I've talked to too many people who were standing on the ledge because of crap they heard. I don't want them to jump off. I'm telling these people to stay grounded. So when I did my NESARA, GESARA videos, I only did videos on what I could prove. And then I would share the link so you can go see for yourself and make your own mind up. But people are so focused on that term, NESARA, GESARA, they're waiting for some big announcement and everything on this list will pop up. I tell them, you don't have to wait for some NESARA, GESARA. Seriously, you don't have to wait for that announcement. There are things happening. I've proved it before. Now I'm going through and updating the videos to show you the changes that are being made. Often when I talk about NESARA, GESARA, this is the list that I'm talking about. Not all the stories about the aliens and the St. Jerome's, and I don't care about none of that. None of that helps our situation out. As a matter of fact, with everybody protesting around the world, they should be demanding this get done. Forgives credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. How realistic is that? I've done videos showing that there's some debt relief out there. But how realistic is this? Is it possible? Yeah, it's actually possible. As a matter of fact, it's even being spoken about. There are studies that governments around the world are actually doing at the moment involving debt relief. Real quick before I continue, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. Speaking of protecting yourself from debt, you should be investing in the gold and silver. Yep, you can physically hold it and own it. If you're thinking about buying precious metals, go check out our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. Talk about getting out of the system and protecting yourself. Gold and silver is the way. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you'll get a free half ounce of silver. To show you that there are at least little victories out there, it's better than nothing. People are like, that's not NESARA, GESARA, because I did a video about student loan. It's not a matter of this announcement and everything being 100%. They're like, that's not NESARA, GESARA. You're missing people are missing the most important part of what NESARA, GESARA is really about. It's about getting our lives back together, our freedoms, getting rid of the debt that are incurred by these governments who celebrate debt. United States economy is a debt-based economy. Why do you think we're having trouble? Because people aren't spending money, they're saving it. They want you out there spending money. That's why there's talk about this central bank digital currency. There's no generational wealth transfer. The currency is actually going to have an expiration date on there, because if you don't spend it, then it disappears. Yeah, they don't want you saving money. That's the type of future you have to look forward to if something doesn't change. So I'm showing you little victories, and then also showing you things you might not be aware of that you can actually benefit from. So small victory, here you go. $2.5 million in medical debt relief for local residents. Through the generosity of its members, Cowboy Fellowship Church has abolished $2.5 million in medical debt for local residents. Why is this article important? There are things and programs like this locally that you probably aren't aware of, and you should look into, instead of sitting around or eating your popcorn, waiting for your 17 miles of gold that the clones are bringing you. Why don't you look into these things and help yourself? Now, I've worked over 20 years in healthcare industry, especially in the medical billing sector, the revenue cycle. I'm very familiar with it. Here's something that a lot of you might not know. The New Year's just happened. We're still in the month of January. Most every single medical facility have what's called debt relief programs. If you owe way too much money on medical bills, Now is the time to do it at the beginning of the year because they can only write off so much debt. So you need to get in there right away. Just go in person to where you pay your bills for your medical bills and say, look, I need help. I understand you got a debt relief program. They don't announce it for a reason because then everybody would run over there. So most people aren't even aware of it, especially when it comes to hospital bills. Tell them you want to apply for their debt relief program. They'll have you fill out some papers. They're going to ask you some personal questions, and they're going to find out what your financial situation is. If it's bad or you're on some kind of aid or anything like that, they'll just write the debt off. They'll either write part of it or all of it off. But if you don't get in there early, this money usually disappears. So now is January. Now's the time to go. It doesn't hurt. Hit them up. Say, I'd like to apply for your debt relief program. I don't have money to pay my bills, and I'm falling behind. They're going to ask your account number. They're going to find out how much you owe. You're going to go fill out some paperwork, and then they'll run you through the system. A lot of people don't know this. You might have an opportunity to go to your facility and have your debt written off. So Cowboy Fellowship Church has helped their local communities by getting rid of $2.5 million in medical debt for their locals. This isn't the first time they've done this. Over here, it said in 2019, the fellowship was able to abolish over $6 million in medical debt for local residents. Again, I show you this because it's like a small victory. People benefit from this. Some people could benefit, but don't know about this. They're unaware. So I'm helping bring awareness to debt relief. Go to your local facility that you owe the money to. Tell them you want to apply for the debt relief program or debt forgiveness. If you don't ask for it, they're not going to tell you about it, and with good reason. Here we go. The debt jubilee. Everybody just take out debt jubilee and just put NESARA GESARA because it helps some of you feel better for some reason. They love those words. You got to hear them. NESARA GESARA. You got to hear the announcement. No, you don't. NESARA GESARA is just another form of debt jubilee, debt forgiveness. What difference is the name as long as it happens? So is debt relief real? Debt jubilee, the case for canceling debt. This article, January 2nd of 2022, they're talking about it. During the first year of the RONA pandemic, cash from federal benefits allowed many people to pay down their credit card balances. Last year, however, huge mortgages pushed Canada's household debt to income ratio back towards its all-time high. Canadians have loaded up on personal debt through more than a half century of financial crisis, and it's happening again. So last year, however, the huge mortgage pushed Canadians' household debt to income ratio back towards its all-time high, raising above 177% in the third quarter of 2021. Economist Michael Hudson says this kind of debt buildup chokes economic growth and gives undue power to creditors like banks. Pay attention to that because history has shown us in the past we used to have a debt jubilee every 7 years. Yes, we did for this purpose because we didn't want to give creditors or banks this type of power over its people. He also says it demands a reset, canceling our debts. It doesn't just say student loan, it says canceling our debts. We do need a reset. Today, Hudson explains the millennial-old practice of debt cancellation and how it could help modern economies. Millennial-old practice. We don't do it anymore. And who screwed up this tradition? The West, of course. Now I'll leave the link for this here. You can see the podcast here, but it's 33 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't think you guys want to be sitting on here that long just to listen to it. I will leave the link. You can come check it out. Listen to what he has to say. But lots of his research comes from this article here. I'll leave a link for it as well, but I came to this section right here. It says, you also make the case, so this is him, by the way, Michael Hudson. This is his article. This is his Q&A. The interviewer says, you also make the case that this matter is at the heart of the biblical stories we think we're familiar with. This is him responding. That was what the first sermon of Jesus was all about. When he went to the synagogues and unrolled the scroll of Isaiah, the prophet and said, I've come to proclaim the year of the Lord, which was the debt cancellation, the Jubilee year that was brought in from Babylon into Judaism. as it was done all through the Near East. People who translated the Bible didn't really know what these words meant. What does it mean, the year of the Lord? What does it mean, the year? Which was debt cancellation. It was only after the Assyriologists began to find out how all of the Near East society had debt cancellation. Just like the anthropologists, we're finding that all the way from the Native American Indians to European realms, you'd have this practice of restoring balance. The idea was, how do we prevent society from destabilizing and polarizing? You cancel the debt. What's happening now in our society is destabilizing and it's polarizing. So, how realistic is debt forgiveness, which is one of the items on the NESARA GESARA? Well, there is some interesting news out there about that. Governments have been doing studies on actual debt relief. Yes, global debt settlement market size by product, by application, competitive landscape, and forecast. This was done in October 2021. Debt settlement market size and forecast. The global debt settlement market is growing at a faster pace with sustainable growth rates over the last few years. And it is estimated that the markets will grow significantly in the forecasted period between 2022 and 2030. The Global Debt Settlement Market Report provides a holistic evaluation of the market for the forecasted period of 2017 through 2026. The report comprises of various segments as well as analysis of the trends and factors that are playing a substantial role in the market. These factors, the market dynamics, the drivers and restraints are intersected factors, whereas opportunity and challenge are extrinsic factors of the market. The Global Debt Settlement Market Study provides an outlook on the development of market in terms of revenue throughout the prognosis period. Just like that article said, in order for the economies to be revitalized, every now and then you have to do debt forgiveness. Well, what's that do? It frees up a lot of income for people. Happy people or happy workers. Being debt free takes a lot of stress out of your life. People will start investing, they'll start spending, which is what this economy needs. I will leave a link so that you can come check this out. But you can see right here it says a Global Debt Settlement Market Report Scope. The title is a Global Debt Settlement Market. By product, credit card debt, student loan debt, and others. By application, private and enterprise. Because you got those people out there going, man, I pay my debt on time. Why should you be punished for making bad mistakes? When you start having that attitude, it doesn't help anything. So let me just throw this at you. Congratulations, you were responsible and you paid off all your debt. That's not a bad thing. Obviously, it's a good thing. But if you start looking at people who are suffering because of debt as some type of reward because they got debt relief, or that they should somehow stay in debt as punishment for bad decision making, well, that doesn't just hurt them, it hurts you. Obviously, look at our economy. Congratulations, you pay your bills on time, but all your investments are what? Crashing. Why? Because there's debt issues. People are out there suffering. So if you're sitting there looking at whether or not the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, why don't you stop looking over the damn fence and tend to your own yard? People should be more responsible, but did you ever stop to think that people when they were younger made bad financial decisions, and if you help them get out of it, they've learned their lesson and will not repeat this, and everybody's better off. Key players, here's all the different groups in here. The regions, it's everywhere, the rest of the world. Countries covered, right here. This study period is for 2021, base year 2020, historic years 2019, forecasted period for 2028. So what is this report? This report is what happens if they actually do global debt relief. Of what kind? Credit card, student loan, and other. So whether you want to call it NESARA, GESARA, that's fine. If it makes you feel better and they make this announcement, they call it a debt jubilee, and you go, no, I don't want to hear that. Just make a little recording of yourself and go, NESARA, GESARA. So every time they say debt jubilee, you can just mute it and push that button and hear it go, NESARA, GESARA, because that might help you out. The whole point is, instead of focusing on the name, focus on what is the most important things, which are the items on this list. There are small little victories of debt relief out there. Student loan debt, mortgage forgiveness, as well as medical bills. I'm telling you, most people are not even aware of this. Go to your hospital if you have a lot of hospital bills. The medical billers are not going to tell you that. You have to ask for it. Then they'll sign you into the program. If not, ask them if there's any local organizations that help people with their medical bills. They're there as well. Churches, local communities. I'm just bringing this to your attention because a lot of people aren't aware of this, and this might help a lot of people who are suffering. So go ask, because they only set so much money aside every year. Once that money runs out, no more people can get into the program for the rest of the year. It's only at the beginning of the year of each facility. So go to your hospital, tell them you want to enroll in a debt forgiveness or the debt relief program because you cannot pay your bills. They'll help you get in there. And we should be focusing on the items of this list and not just focus just on the name NESARA GESARA. So is debt relief, debt forgiveness real? Yes, governments are looking into it right now. If you think about this great reset, they actually planned this event, put us into this. For some reason, we seem to be slipping through the fingers, and whatever this plan was is not quite going according to plan. God's not going to let them do this. But like I said, you got to be able to get off your butt and help ourselves as well. Can't just expect God to do it all. You got to help somewhere along the line. My suggestion to you is teach one, learn one, teach one. In other words, if you learn about a program that's local to you and you are in my Facebook group, please go in there and make a post and say, hey, this is the hospital in this city, in this state. They have the debt forgiveness program for medical bills. Let other people in the groups know if you find out that your hospital has these programs, because there might be people who live close to you that have the debt in that same facility. This way, then, we can help each other out. Okay? Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. Hit the thumbs up button. If you are not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.